What's up, everybody? We're back again. It's episode 189 of the Dadbod Golf Pod. Holy cow, what a weekend of golf. Golf everywhere. Literally thousands of golf. It seemed like there was hundreds of golf tournaments. It was crazy. And we're here to talk about all of it. Kyle and Ben back on a Monday, ready to go. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Bet Online, the number one sports betting website in the country. Did you hit Charles Schwartzel to win the LIV Tour?
No, I didn't. I should have, though.
Did you bet on Rory to win the Canadian Open?
No, because he can't ever put together more than 2 rounds.
He put together a hell of a one today. So
yes, he did.
And you could have hit all of those at Bet Online. They got lines for everything. You can get a 50% welcome bonus. Put $100 in. Use coupon code BELIEVE. They're going to pop 50 more on top of it. Turn it into 300. Double it up. Go put it on black in the casino on roulette. I mean, they have it. They got the live casino. They got everything at Bet Online. It's an awesome place to make sports. You don't have to go crazy. You just make sports more interesting. I saw my dad always said, I don't bet to get rich. I bet because it makes me be interested in a game. So yes. I'll put $5 on a game. I'll put $10 on a game, do a little 2-team parlay, whatever. Have some fun with Bet Online. It's where the game starts. Ben, we teased it. Like I said, golf absolutely everywhere. The first LIV Tour event concluded on Saturday. It's 54 holes, not 72, which is cool.
Which allowed Phil to go ahead and get practice time at the U.S. Open.
Oh yes, Phil already on the grounds at Brookline practicing because he had his Sunday off. He got to travel to Massachusetts and get out there. Charles Schwartzel wins the inaugural LIV Tour Classic. Rory absolutely has an awesome, amazing duel with Justin Thomas and Tony Finau. It came down to essentially the next to last hole. Rory birdied 17, JT bogeyed it, and that pretty much sealed it. But I mean, it was literally like birdie for birdie for birdie. Had a 59 watch Justin Rose, and he had it with like 6 holes left. He was 11 under through 13, if I'm not mistaken. 11 under through 13, with 2 bogeys.
Yes,
with 2 bogeys, and then he ended up bogeying 18 to shoot 60. It was in a collective womp womp. But man, and you know what? This is what there was. Also, there's shots being thrown from both sides. There's shots coming from Greg Norman. There's shots coming from Rory. Shots go across the bow, and it's like, this is awesome. This is the greatest thing ever.
I love it.
We're talking
competition. I've said this numerous times. Competition in business is good. It's always good.
It's great. It's great. It's creating a natural rivalry. And I'm kind of cool now. I'm kind of cool with the fact that now that the LIV Tour guys don't come back to the PGA Tour, because I want it to become like this, like fearsome, like NWO over here, and the PGA Tours, WCW or whatever, and they hate each other and they're battling. And then maybe eventually, I mean, guys, think about the possibilities here. Like, instead of pooping on the LIV Tour, like, think about what we could have. We could have, and I tweeted this out, imagine in like February, a PGA Tour versus LIV Tour Ryder Cup style, just phenomenal.
Love it.
That's what we should be pulling for. Imagine the golf you saw today at the Canadian Open, but you saw JT and Rory on one side versus Bryson DeChambeau and Dustin Johnson. Teams like that. There's more guys coming to the LIV Tour. Just go ahead and prepare for that after this U.S. Open's done. Like, go ahead and prepare for it. It's coming. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. What's your takeaways, Ben?
It's a fun weekend for golf. The biggest thing that I took from this weekend, and I tweeted a bunch about it on the personal page instead of the Dadbod page, but PGA Tour has got to quit taking this personal. This is not a personal shot at them. This is a business decision. They keep calling out names and they keep going after people, and it's like, stop that. Like, and why are you waiting till now? Did you notice that, Kyle? That was one thing that we talked about in our text messaging. The one thing that I did love about it, if anything, this has woken the PGA Tour up, where they realize what fans want, because you had Jay Monahan there. You had them talking about golf. You had the crowds into it. You had the players interacting with the crowds. You had, all kinds of stuff go. They created a buzz in the golf world. And it's like, if you guys would have been doing this shit for the last 10 years, we wouldn't be at this point right now. Yeah. Everybody would be all excited about golf. So they haven't been very proactive. They're being very reactive. And I'm never big on that in the business world. Like, always be thinking about the next step. Like, what can you do next? And they didn't. They thought they had a monopoly on everything.
Yeah.
And then when they're like, well,
maybe we don't.
You won't ever be able to come back to PGA Tour. Dustin Johnson's like, cool. Okay. I don't care.
Yeah, I do not care. Yeah, exactly. I can play in in theory, I can play in the Masters every year.
Yes.
I can play in the US Open every year. I can play in the PGA. I can play in all of them every year. So like
play in the Open Championship every year, unless they decide not to do, because they play by different rules too. So it's just one of those things where he can play in his majors, and that's what a lot of guys are like. They strive to do. They want to play in majors. They want to play major golf. They say major golf is much more intense than regular golf. Well,
here's what
these guys can make millions and still do that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you haven't, we haven't talked about it since last week. News came out after we dropped the show on Friday, but so far we've got Bryson's committed to joining. Patrick Reed is committed. Pat Perez has committed.
Who was anti?
Well, all of them were.
Entire time.
It's negotiation tactic, man. That's all that was.
He was more anti than most.
He had some podcasts where he had some strong
feelings, but again, that was more personal. He had strong feelings more against Phil than he did again. Yeah. He never really bashed the LIV Tour.
Yeah,
he just bashed Phil and the way he handled it.
Did I miss anybody? Did I miss any? I know I missed a few. I probably missed a few.
No, I really think we're going. I'm
Ricky is going to pop eventually. It's just going to happen. It's got to happen.
Ricky's going to happen because he's not going to be able to play anywhere else if he keeps it up.
I'm curious to see if when these guys join, like what happens with this whole team thing. Do we how does that whole? Do you start booting people like the younger guys or whatever maybe that aren't as much of a pull? Do you start booting people? Like I wonder how that works because 48 dudes is or do they just sit out and join the next guy? I'm curious to see how that.
Yeah, I don't know. Or do they increase the field or they stay right there at the 48? I don't know.
You kind of got to stay at 48 with the shotgun stuff.
Also, when they do that, are they still contractually obligated to pay those guys get to sit at home and make money?
That's a good question. I don't know because I think
you don't on the tour. I mean, that's or any other professional sport. I mean, that's the same way with like football. You get suspended, you don't get paid that game.
I think there's guys that have not even yet declared that's going to happen after the US Open. I mean, it's a major, so you don't want those distractions.
Right.
They watched this first event. They do know now that you should be able to play in at least the two opens. Mm-hmm. I think it's this could get wild after the last putt goes in on Sunday. And then they start gearing up for that one in Pumpkin Ridge that's in Portland. It could be wild.
It may get wild on Friday afternoon when guys realize they're not going to make the cut at the US Open.
That's true.
They may be they may be releasing statements and heading to Pumpkin Ridge to get practice rounds in right away.
Very well could. Very well could. I mean, there's so many different ways we could take this. Is there any, I kind of want to talk a little bit about this Rory JT deal that I like on the surface, that they are becoming sort of the spokespeople for the PGA Tour. Yeah. And maybe to build this rivalry, if it could become a rivalry, maybe it's good to have the like poo-poo shots back and forth. Like I want to say that I liked JT. I liked his first response where he was just sort of neutral. Today, he kind of came out with a little more because Rory had his whole basically, hey, I've won more tournaments than Greg Norman deal in his post game. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
He
didn't call him by name. He said
he didn't call by name, but everybody knew he's talking about Greg Norman. He's won 21. Greg Norman only had 20.
They'd set it up earlier in the broadcast. Jim Nansen mentioned it, said if he gets the win today.
That was their go-to. They were fired
Yeah.
up about that one. Like Greg Norman hadn't played golf in like 20, 30 years. Like, why the hell are we talking about Greg? Like when Rory goes past DJ, then like that would have, if that was the one that surpassed DJ, that would have been a really good one. That would have been a really good one. But
when they kept focusing on Norman, I'm like, that's not even.
There's 30 guys on tour, I think, that have had 20 or more wins. Like,
here's the thing: Greg Norman is a businessman, whether it be good businessman, bad businessman, whatever you want to call it. The guy's got, he's got all the shark memorabilia. He's made a ton of money through his life. He doesn't seem to be slowing down. He's still built better than me and you, and he's like 82.
Oh yeah.
And he's walking around on the beach shirtless with his dog, and it's like, goodness gracious alive. And and he got approached by some guys and said, we want you to help start up a tour. Well, he's sitting around not doing shit. So
yeah. And nobody on the PGA Tour likes him anyway.
Yeah, and nobody likes. So he's like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll help you do that. And so he did it, and everybody's poo-pooing on him, and it's kind of like he just seized an opportunity.
Exactly.
And and it's not like he's got great relationships. He and DJ are not best of buds. He just put some feelers out there and said, look, this is what's going to happen. Guy's going to play in the first tournament. The guy that wins is going to win $4.7 million. Anybody want to get a little bit of that cheese? And then
hey, by the way, 4.7. Let me tell you where that win would have put Charles Schwartzel. 4.75 million puts him at number 10 on the PGA Tour money list for the whole season.
And here's what that's going to do. You ready for this, Kyle? Here's what that's going to do. Those fringe guys that we were talking about, those Rickies of the world that are sitting there. Charles Schwartzel coming into this, $35,000 is all he's made in the last year and a half of golf. That's it. 35 plus. It was like $35,700 or something, whatever it is. In one tournament, he just won $4.7 million. He hasn't had $1 million season in like the last 10 years. And he just did it in a tournament.
Turk Pettit shot 15 over in 3 rounds, I think, somewhere around that. $250,000.
Yes. That's ridiculous.
That's hard to walk away from. That's hard to not see. Brandel Chambly is just totally continuing to pound this murderous blood money narrative, and it's just
here's the thing.
It's aggravating. It gets more aggravating.
It would be different if he went ahead and he found the money backers for this Saudi league and found connections to quote unquote 9/11, to other terrorist acts that have taken place. He hasn't done that. He hasn't done that research.
See, I don't even care if it's directly connected. Like Dustin Johnson has the Dustin Johnson Foundation, where they help underprivileged kids have access to play golf. They donate to stuff to underprivileged communities, things like that. And now all you did was make that have more fun. Like you just made that foundation have more funds. They're not going to like stop doing charity. So these dumbasses that think that they're going to be able to spin their way out of like all the atrocities they've committed, they think they're just gonna be able to spin their way out of it and people are going to magically forget. No, that's not going to happen. Brandel, that's not going to happen. We're not going to forget. Nobody's ever going to forget. No. But if these DAs want to give all this money away, we'll take it and we'll go do awesome stuff with it. I don't want to go much further on that because I really want to talk about Jay Monahan's interview. But I just Brandel.
The only other thing I will say about
Brandel, but God, you just continue with that same tired narrative. It's just,
and he's doing
that's all it is.
And it's like you and I've talked about before. He's doing it while wearing Nike shoes and typing on an iPhone, and that bothers me as well that he's doing that because everybody's got their problems. The only other thing I'll say about it, one of the guys that's one of the financial backers also owns one of the soccer teams, football, they call them football teams, one of the soccer teams.
Yeah.
You know what? Nobody's protesting those things. You know what they do every weekend? They friggin' sell out. That's why that guy makes the money he makes.
Exactly.
So you can just stop with all that. Like that is hitting close to home for some of you that are in the tour. And a lot of reason being probably is because it's taken away from some of your power that you probably had at one point in time because it's shifting somewhere else.
Yeah. This reminds me,
though. It's still
this reminds me
good.
This reminds me so much of NIL in college sports.
Yes,
if you think about it, it's an old model that the colleges benefited amazingly off of. You got essentially
the NCAA did.
The NCAA
made tons of money off
NCAA. College institutions made a ton of money, And we don't really have a good explanation of why we don't want them to do it. And we're going to talk about that when we talk about Jay Monahan's press conference. We don't really have a good idea of why we don't want them to get paid, but we just know that we don't want to do it because it's not the traditional way. It's the same thing with the PGA Tour. We've already talked about the monopoly they've had. It's just a change, and people hate change. Before we speaking of you said you used a term just a second ago, and it was I want to say it was like right on the money is what you used or something like that, or no, hit close to home. Close to home.
If
you want to hit your golf balls closer to home, you got to have the right yardages. Okay. And one way to have the right yardage without having to pay a caddy, buy yardage books, or a $600 rangefinder is to check out bluetees.com. Go to bluetees.com. We have the Series 3. They got a Series 2. They got a wide range of products that they offer. But the Series 3 is literally
Series 3. Get the Series 3.
The Series 3 is worth it. The Series 3 is literally a $600 rangefinder for under $400. And you get to take 10% more off of that using coupon code DADBOD. It's got the magnet already built in for the side. It's got the infrared screen lock-in. It's got the buzz lock-in on the pin. It's got scan mode where you can flip it to scan mode, hold the button down, and just go hit bunkers, hit trees, wherever you want to see. It's just
if y'all want to know more about the scan mode, follow Grayson Murray's game. That's all he plays in because he doesn't hit any greens. He's hitting nothing but trees and bunkers around it. He knows exactly how far they are.
There you go. Exactly. Funny thing on him, remind me. Funny thing on him a little bit later.
I know what you're going to say.
So bluetees.com, use coupon code DADBOD, take 10% off, get you a Father's Day gift. Go ahead, send it to your wife, get you a Father's Day gift lined up. Get you some Bluetooth speakers. They got everything. They're awesome. Bluetees.com.
Don't get that outdoor fire pit that your wife's been wanting to get you. It's the middle of the summer. It's 90 degrees outside. You don't
get that Blackstone grill. Don't get that Blackstone grill. Go get you
use something that
you
a
rangefinder that you
that you can use minimum once a week. And you know what? You can even use it when you go to the range because you know what? Those range yardages always suck because they're never right.
Scan mode is awesome for the range.
Yes.
Like you hit a ball and just hit a ball out in an area that's not around anything, hit scan mode, shoot it at that ball. It'll tell you how far it is. It'll hit the ground, bounce back, boom, 185 yards.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. Bluetees.com. Grayson Murray. So real quick, before we go to Jay Monahan, their locker, his US Open locker is right beside Kevin Na.
Yes.
And he took a picture of it and tweeted. I think that's hilarious. Way to go. Hey, USGA. I like it. I like where y'all are at right now.
Thank you so much.
The USGA is in such a good spot right now.
That's why that guy, when they interviewed him, he didn't say anything slanders towards anybody. He was like, nope, we're letting them play. That's what we're going to do.
Absolutely.
And you know what? Not just that. One thing I'm not telling y'all is I just put Grayson Murray and Kevin Na's locker right beside each other.
That's awesome. They'll probably both not have to deal with each other for very long. So that's the good side. All right. So get back on this. Jay Monahan spoke for the first time, and I want to break into 3 different parts and talk about it. Well, the first question that he was asked was basically, why can't players play on both? That was the first question he was asked. And after he gave a very long non-answer, he never really answered it until the very end. His only answer was, and this, maybe I don't get this, Ben, maybe you can help me on this. His answer was, I don't want those guys being able to ride the coattails of what my guys have built and are building. That was essentially, so in other words, he felt like if you go to the LIV Tour and you play on the PGA Tour, you're benefiting from the PGA Tour and all the guys that are on the PGA Tour and the buzz and the popularity that they're building. So you're basically freeloading is what he's saying.
And I completely disagree with that.
It's the dumbest. That could be the worst.
That could be a terrible take.
Say blood money. Say blood money. We don't want, just say something like that. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, Jay. That's the worst answer.
I would have had more respect for him if he'd have said, you know what, because I'm the president of the PGA Tour and I sat down in a room with my guys and I said, this is how it's going to be. And that's the reason we made the decision.
Yeah. I just don't want him.
I'd have been okay with, I'd be okay with him saying that. I don't want them playing on both tours, period. Yeah. Not riding on, because what have you got? Kyle, what have you got? 10 golfers out of the LIV Tour that are going to be successful on the PGA Tour as well?
for now.
I mean,
Yeah.
the rest of the guys are getting their money grabbed, and good for them. We talked about that Piot guy. That guy ended up making about $300,000 this weekend, plus his signing bonus he's already got. So when he said that and gave the big basically a politician's answer whenever you ask him, hey, why haven't gas prices gone down? Putin. Well, that's why this guy is. That's what he basically said. It's like,
that's what he said.
Well, why can't they play? Cause LIV Tour, and it's going to take away from my guys. No, it's not. Like Kyle and I just said to open the show, this is for fans. This is the most fun
potentially
time of
could
golf.
This potentially could be the greatest thing to ever happen to golf.
This is great.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
It's going to get even better when a TV deal gets put up. Right now, you're having to watch it online, so some people can't see it. When a network pulls them up and grabs them, hell hath no fury, man. PGA better watch out, because people are going to be watching both tours. And the good news is they'll be done Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They will start watching the LIV Tour Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and watching Sunday only PGA Tour if they're not careful and they don't rub people the wrong way.
Yeah. His overall tone to me he seemed like the wounds were still very fresh. He seemed very pissed off. He seemed very, very angry. And I don't know if that was by design or if that was whatever. That just didn't
Here is my take on the hymns, the Brandel Chamblees, some of the players. Their tone, every one of them to me is holier than thou. And I can't stand that.
Yeah.
Because you know what? You're not any better than those guys. And the fact that otherwise play for free, damn it. Don't take any money.
We're acting like these dudes are playing for $100,000. No, they're playing for, Rory just won
get 1.7 today.
1.7. Let's don't pretend it's just they're just throwing Monopoly, nothing. They're making a ton of money too. Let's just don't pretend like that.
And that has been the thing. And that was, and Phil just handled it wrong. But even Pat Perez said it in some of the podcasts he's been on. The PGA Tour has been raking in money, and their players do not know where it's going or what it's being.
Yeah, they have a $600 million just fund.
Yes,
from what I understand in the PGA that I listened to on a podcast, a $600 million fund that the PGA Tour has. Yeah, and then you had the whole pay $1 million rights for the match stuff and all that kind of. That's why I'm sure that's why the match now is just not even dudes that play golf.
Yeah,
not even dudes that play golf because of that. So. And then the last thing was, I thought this was to me, if you want to build a rivalry, and whatnot, I thought Jay had a really good line. And it was, they were talking about, they're going in on the Saudi regime and the issues there and whatnot. And Jay says, you'll never have to apologize for being on the PGA Tour. And I thought that was a really good line. And that's good. Stuff like Rory, even though I wish he would have had a little bit of balls and said his name. If you're taking shots, if it's rivalry shots, if it's stuff like that, that's great, because I really think they could build something here where you could have exhibition matches between the two tours, the PGA Tour versus the LIV Tour. And as of right now, the PGA Tour would absolutely dump truck them unmercifully. And that's good. That would be good for the PGA Tour. Why not embrace it? Say, you know what? Go over there, play for however much money you want. And you know what? We'll even let you come play in some world, what do they call them? WGC events for some world ranking points. We'll let you come into those for some world ranking points, but you got to play some exhibition matches, and we're going to beat your ass every time. We're going to absolutely stomp you and show everybody that the best golfers in the world play on the PGA Tour. That I just feel like I don't know. And maybe they're doing that behind the scenes, but it just seems like it's whiny baby stuff right now.
It is whiny babies. And you mentioned that line. I did not like that line.
You didn't like it?
I hated that line. And here's the reason being, is because if Jim Nantz had a hair on any of the nutsack that he has left down there from letting the PGA Tour control it and twist it how he wants, he'd have said, well, what about all the country clubs that you guys play at, the PGA Tour plays at week in and week out that don't have female members or black members in them?
Mm.
If you're going to sit there and you're going to point fingers across the bow and talk about not having to apologize, wasn't that long ago we had protests set outside of Augusta because they didn't have any people of color or any female members at all. That's
not a
few years
PGA
ago.
Tour event, but I get where you're going.
But there are plenty, because they did this crap. That's the whole reason that Shoal Creek caught controversy. That's the whole reason the Robert Trent Jones Golf Course exists to this day, because they waited till they got to Alabama to point out that a club didn't have any black members. They didn't do that in Wisconsin, where they don't have any black members. They didn't do that out in Seattle, where they don't have any black members. They waited till they got to the Southeast and they decided to do it. Now, we got the RTJ trail out of it because basically David Bronner said, well, I'm going to build a bunch of courses that anybody can play at.
Perfect. Yep.
But he wanted, that's what Nat should have said, listen, PGA Tour ain't lily white either. What about all these clubs that you're playing at that don't allow people? What is that all about?
Yep. And then his answer for the Saudi event earlier in the year was pretty bad too. There was a Saudi event earlier in the year where players asked to go play. It was one event. That was his one thing. It was one event. Well, hell, this is only 8. It's only 8. So
so we added 7 more and you're pissed about it?
Yeah. So 7 more, and it's the same folks. Yes. And they gave out the same kind of money, maybe not to the extent, but like for one-time tournament fees, they gave out a pile of money.
Tiger Woods has played in a ton of those where it was minimum $10 million to show up, regardless of he was placed in the field.
Tons of money. And he had a really bad answer there. So I just think they're missing an opportunity. Create this rivalry, guys. I'm begging you. I want a PGA Tour, because I'm going to be on the PGA Tour side, but I still want to watch LIV Tour stuff too. I still want to watch. I'm not anti either. I'm anti being, a PUSSY. I'm anti PUSSY. Not in life, but just in being one, if you know what I'm saying. So let's create this rivalry. Let's build this thing, and then let's just duke it out for like the rest of life. I
want 5 years from now to go to the PGA Superstore, and what I can't find in there, I walk next door to the LIV Superstore and get what I want.
Oh yeah, the LIV Store's got all that illegal stuff, like the Club Pro guy punch out tool with the camel toe technology, all that. They're gonna have all that illegal stuff. The hammer, that warbird ball that's supposed to fly like 1,000 yards. Yeah. That's where you go to get all that stuff. No, but this is the greatest thing is there's so much we don't have to make up stuff to talk about. There's literally controversy all the time now, and it's absolutely amazing. I want to take this. I have a hot take of why this LIV Tour thing is a thing. I have a hot take, and I want to get your reaction on it. Are you ready for this? Okay. The LIV Tour was born out of only the majors matter. So it's not a PGA Tour. The PGA Tour has the PGA Tour events have sort of lost their luster. The majors are all that's matters. So here's my take. The LIV Tour, let me back this up. My take is that Tiger Woods has a huge impact on why the LIV Tour is what it is today. And the reason is because the only thing these guys care about anymore are the majors. And Jack was one of the first ones that really, really pumped it up, but that was so far long ago. And Tiger came along, and Tiger was all about 18. All I care about is majors. Hey, do you want to have the all-time win number, or do you want to have that? Cause they did the numbers. What is it? 83 or what's the all-time win? I can't remember exactly. Yeah.
He got it. He
tied it, didn't he? Or did he?
He won
all-time PGA Tour wins leader is we'll look that up. We'll look that up later. But yeah, they asked him, do you want to have all-time wins or all-time majors? Majors. Yeah. And that's when golf boom happened. So all these guys, literally the only thing they care about right now is, can they still play in the majors? Because if they can still play in the majors, deuces PGA Tour. I'm about to go change my life and make more money than I'll ever even see for the 20 years that I've played here. I'm about to go just triple it right now. as long as I can still play in the majors. And that's because the majors have the emphasis on the majors that Tiger put has sort of put Bay Hill and the Memorial and the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, where guys don't even really want to go play that stuff anymore. It's a long shot take, but in general, I'm saying that the emphasis that Tiger put on the majors is what has created this era of guys that only care about the majors, and then let's go make as much money as we can while we still play in the majors.
I think it's also when they get to a certain age. No, I do not disagree with you at all. Otherwise, the LIV Tour would be having a competing tournament going against a major, and they don't.
Right.
Anytime a major is played, they're not going to be playing.
That's their
matter of
selling
fact,
point.
they don't even come back for another month. I mean, it's going to be 3 weeks, I think, down the road before.
Yeah.
So you get to the U.S. Open, and you still get a couple of weeks of practice time over before you head to Portland. So,
I was hoping that would make you mad and we would fight, but I guess
no, because
made too much sense.
it makes total sense, because I don't disagree with it, and the reason being is because of what you said about the Tiger thing. And by the way, he and Sam Snead are tied 82 apiece.
There you go. I knew it was around 82 was the number.
I thought he got the one more than Snead. I thought he surpassed Snead, but I guess not. I guess it was the Zozo maybe that he won the 82nd, and so
no, it was
the Masters that got his 82nd.
Yeah, he won the Zozo before he won the Masters, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Anyway, they put such an emphasis on it, and when you get to the age that DJ's at, people forget DJ's 38. I think he's about to be 40. Maybe 39 at this point.
He's older. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
And even Rory's no spring chicken. Did you see the gray in his hair today when he took his hat off? I mean, he's
marriage will do that to you.
JT, even though even though JT is young, I mean, he's in his upper 20s, he's part of that Tiger Woods philosophy. He's been talking about with Tiger, got to focus on the majors. Like, it was like he wasn't even disappointed that he lost today. He was like, I need a little momentum. Yeah, Brooks Koepka, he has said,
I don't even like playing in other majors. I just want to win majors.
Want to win majors. And so it has gotten to that point. And you mentioned some other tournaments. I think that you can't discredit some of them. You could discredit like a tournament this weekend, RBC Invitational.
Even though the leaderboard was stacked. Yeah.
Even though it was stacked, you still could discount. But the players, people love to play there. Anytime something's at Torrey, regardless of what the name of the tournament is, people love to play. So it's venue driven, I think. Well, here's the thing. These guys have got a ton of money, Kyle. What happens if they start playing some of their tournaments at some of these venues?
Oh, yeah.
What if they start going to Torrey and they're like, you know what? I know that you said you would never let us do an event here. Here's $55 million.
Jay Monahan. Now the sponsors early have spoken, so they do seem to be on the side of the PGA Tour. But what happens because one of the things that Jay Monahan said in his statement, or not in his statement on the telecast, but like in his email to players, is that there will not even be sponsors exemptions. So like, even if it's a sponsors exemption, you're not going to be, you still can't play. But like, what if, there's enough guys go that were sponsored by an American Express or a Workday or something like that, and those sponsors that pay to be sponsored of these tournaments are like, I want Dustin Johnson in my event.
Yes.
What happens then? That's what's going to be crazy, because the key to this whole thing and the major thing is going to be world ranking points, because over a span of time, like, these dudes are going to lose all their world ranking points. So they have to get them somewhere. And I don't think you can just get them all in. You can get a lot of world ranking points in majors, but like, is that enough? I mean, and then you got to perform each time. Like, you got to play and you got to finish. So I don't know. It's going to be crazy to see. But holy cow, so fired up to be here. Now, let me tell you something else I'm really fired up about. Liquid IV.
Yes, you are.
Guys, I mean, I'm absolutely pounding these things. They're amazing. It's a drink additive that gives you like 10 times the hydration in one cup that water does. I probably butchered the statistics, but
you did.
It's a powder. It's a powder pack. You put it in your cup of water, swish it around, and it will get you right back going. It's a perfect golf drink. It's literally perfect. The summers are brutal. After about 4 or 5 holes, hell, after about a range session, You're going to be drenched in sweat. And then you're going to be out there pounding beers, and you're going to get to a point where you could go off the edge, but you pop this in there, you pop this in, pound you a couple of these, and you'll be back hydrated, ready to go. Use coupon code Dadbod Golf Pod. It's long, but do the whole thing. Dadbod Golf Pod. Take 25% off your order. I got that wrong on the last show. It's 25% off.
Yep.
And
More.
free shipping, which is awesome. I think you could even do like a subscription deal where they could send it to you recurring. They're awesome flavors. I'm telling you, this stuff's good. I got apple pie. I know that sounds crazy. It's delicious. Ben's got the passion fruit. Nate's got the acai berry. That's only just a fraction of the stuff they have. So check them out. Liquid IV. Use that coupon code, save big, and stay hydrated. It could get dangerous sometimes playing golf in the summer, especially down south. Stay hydrated, keep some sunscreen on, and stay hydrated. That's the 2 rules, and have some fun. So check them out and show them some love. Show them some
Dad Bod Golf Pod. That's what you got to do. The whole thing.
Dad Bod Golf Pod. The whole thing. Other cool stories. There was a lady, a girl, I'm trying to think of her name. They had a mixed event on the DP World Tour, had a mixed event, and a female won the event, which was pretty cool.
Wait a second. I didn't see this.
Yes, she won. Now they did play from their tees, but she did win the DP World Tour's latest event. I'm trying to pull it up. Their app is just about as bad as the PGA Tour's app, but her name is Lynn Grant, and she won the Volvo car.
She beat Henrik Stenson.
Yes, she did. She smoked Henrik Stenson. She beat.
Bro, she shot 8 under today.
Yeah, she went low today. She beat Henrik by 9 shots. She beat the field by 9 shots. So like the next person behind her was 9 shots away.
Wow.
So I don't know all the ins and outs of how that deal worked out, but I do know that it was a mixed male-female event, and the girls got to play from their tees, guys got to play from their tees, and they just went out, which I think that's actually really cool. I would actually like to see some tournaments like that on the PGA Tour. Hey, take notes on that.
Man, I would pay good money to see Nelly Korda play with those guys.
Oh yeah, tons.
You kidding me?
Absolutely. Let her play from their yardages. They go from like 66, 6,800 yards. Let the dudes go from 73, 75 and just go balls to the wall. She can pump it out there too. So that would be interesting. Speaking of the DP tour, I want you guys to pay attention to this, because I don't think they have the money, and I don't think they have the I'm trying to think of the words.
I know where you're going.
You know where I'm going with this?
I know where
it's going to happen. I think
DJ's already applied. DJ's applied. They're not turning that down.
I've seen the rumors. The DP World Tour is where these guys are going to go for world ranking points. I'm telling you, watch it. Watch them. They say they're going to align with the PGA Tour. I'm not. And if they're on that tour, that gets them into WGC events. So then that's a whole nother level of world ranking points. I'm telling you, the DP World Tour is AKA the European Tour. Will they cave when Dustin Johnson says, "Hey, I want to apply to be on this tour"? When Bryson DeChambeau, when Bubba Watson, we didn't mention that one earlier. Bubba Watson, when all these guys, these big name guys, Pat Perez, and there's more coming. Just be ready. There's more coming. Ricky Fowler, when these guys want to apply to be on the DP World Tour, they don't have a lot of star power right now. They do not have a lot of star power. Do they still let their guys like Sergio, all these dudes, will they let these dudes in? Sergio would be phenomenal on
They got to, Kyle. I just went through that leaderboard just then when we talked about her winning. I knew 5 names on there.
Yeah. Our boy didn't. I don't think our boy made the cut. Scott Hen didn't. I don't think he made the cut. But yeah, I'm with you. If you get a chance to get those guys on there, I know that they say they're going to align with the PGA Tour. Well, money talks, man. And if you can have these guys playing week in and week out on your tour,
That is probably my biggest frustration with this entire thing with Jay Monahan and the PGA Tour, them drawing a line in the sand.
Yep.
It's like you say that you're doing this to make the
Either or
for the fans, and you're saying that you want to keep the fans happy. You know what makes me happy? Watching DJ go head to head against JT and Rory down the stretch. That's what makes me happy. And the fact that you've just lopped one of them off because he decided to go better himself. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think it's a cool thing.
But Ben, I'm telling you, if the way I look at it now, I don't want them coming back and forth.
No, not now.
Because I see this in the future. And I'm like, you're talking about the match. You like watching the match?
Yeah.
This could be the match on steroids, a billion. Like
no,
a billion steroids.
I completely agree.
It could be amazing. So
going into this weekend, before this weekend, I was all about cussing the PGA Tour. I'm not anti-PGA Tour. I'm not anti-LIV. I'm pro-golf. And so coming into this weekend, I was really kind of cussing the PGA Tour. I was like, look at what they're limiting us to. And then when I saw the fireworks and went back and forth, I was like, oh, hell no. Now I don't want them coming back. I want the LIV Tour to continue to grow on this end. I want the PGA Tour to lose some of their players on this end. I want them to come together and there to be, I don't want the Ryder Cup to go away. That's what some people said. If that continues, the Ryder Cup's going to go away. No, I don't think it will.
No, I don't either.
I don't think it'll go. I do think that the
this
Ryder
hurts
Cup is going to have to make some adjustments. It does hurt
the Ryder Cup bad.
And it makes you wonder if they go back and they change the way the Ryder Cup is handled, because they may decide instead of taking 2 captain's picks, they take 6 captain's picks, because then the captain can pick who the hell he wants, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. As long as they're an American citizen, maybe that's how that gets handled. I don't know. But I will say after this weekend, if you can't be pro golf out of this, when you look at it, you don't have to do either or as a fan.
It's not an either or. It's not an either or. It could be both. But
that's the way the PGA Tour, that was what I answered one guy on
Twitter. That's what golf Twitter's saying is either or. No, it could be both. It could be both, and it could be awesome.
I'll pull up what one guy said is he had said, he goes by Michael Greller's support group. It seems pretty fitting that Rory wins this week, the best golf and golfers on the PGA Tour, and it's not particularly close. I said, that's the wool the PGA is pulling over everyone's eyes. Nobody's questioned as fans the tour having some of the best players, events, and tournaments. The PGA Tour has made everyone think that that's the case.
Right. Exactly.
And he said, and he responded back, he said, well, both can be true. It's like, no, like they've put a persona out there that this is a terrible tour and terrible players are playing it. And it's like, that's not the case, man. You can be pro golf and enjoy both of them.
Let's just love both. Let's just love both and let them duke it out for the rest of golf eternity. But hey, it's been coming up on an hour, so we're going to head out. We got a lot to talk about. Nate will be back on Wednesday. We'll have a little we got some cool scenarios we've been cooking up, and it's inspired a little bit by the LIV Tour. So be sure to stay tuned for that. We don't ask for this a lot, but hey, follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and subscribe on that YouTube channel. The YouTube is where we can really take this thing to the next level and do a lot of fun stuff. So tell a friend, subscribe to YouTube, and we're there, and we're audio every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we really appreciate it, guys. Like we said earlier, tonight's episode is brought to you by Bet Online. We will be back Wednesday.
Yes.
So stay tuned. There could be some fireworks that happen between now and then. It's US Open week. A lot of stuff's going on. So we really appreciate it. Check us back. We'll talk to you later. Dadbod Golf Pod.
Always stroking.